What's up, friends? Welcome to the Sixx Daze podcast. I know I've been MIA for a while, but life happened. And that's not why you're here, so I'm not going to tell you all about that. Today, I'm discussing that not all cops are bad. And yes, I know that's not what that stands for, but I don't believe what that stands for, so I'm not going to say that. You know, it's become a trend to hate the cops. I find that bizarre. Before some of you get too upset, am I saying that all cops are good? No, not at all. You know what? Not all doctors are good. Not all teachers are good. Not all preachers are good. Sure ain't all politicians good. And not all people are good. But if you ran around saying that stuff that is being said about cops, or actions that are taken against cops were happening to any other group of people, oh, there'd be an outrage. You know, just because, we'll say, 10 million people believe that all cops are bad, doesn't make it true. Just people want to belong in their experiences. So a little something, oh yeah, Americans are real big about jumping on those bandwagons. Riding it as long as it'll go, no matter how rickety it is. So let's break this down. A lot of the problems with cops are in the bigger cities, the major urban areas. We put them there, or they get in there and they stay for ridiculous amount of time. Those are basically war zones. We don't send our soldiers to war for 10, 15, 20 years. We don't even send them for 5 years. We send them for 2. We rotate them out. I think we need to do that with cops because a lot of those cops in those areas become so jaded from what they see every day, day in, day out, that some of them may start to think, kind of like y'all, everyone's bad. So why not rotate them out? Now, is that fair to the cops from the small towns? Not really, but it gives them a valuable experience that they'll learn to use later. So I think cops should be rotated out. I do not think we should have them in these high crime areas for more than 2 years. I actually think a lesser amount of time would be better, but that's just me. So there's that issue to it. I think that creates a lot of problem. And then the people in those areas see what's going on how people are being treated, and they just start thinking, oh, all cops are that way, when it's not. Nothing could be farther from the truth. The media only shows you bad cops, or if they do show you good cops, it's at the end of the news where everybody's already clicked off after the weather's gone, or the sports scores, however your news runs it. But so the media is also making this worse because it's only showing bad stories, bad cops. There's way more good cops than bad cops. And it's okay if you don't believe it. I know people are going to leave in the comments, blah, 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 blah. I promise you, I will not respond to any of those comments because it's just not true. That may be your belief. I've posted videos on YouTube and other places, had nothing to do with that, but people will leave the most hateful comments about cops. And then other people start dogpiling on. Again, if it was happening to you, if the cops were suddenly only searching out people that said bad things about them, well, there'd be an outrage. That's not realistic. So why is it okay for, not you that's watching, I'm sure the people who feel that way have already clicked off, or most of them. Why is it okay for that to be said about cops or the actions that have been taken against them, where people actually cheer and carry on about it? That doesn't even make any sense. So, we've established that, most cops, if you watch, a lot of times they'll chase someone down who's put the general public in a lot of danger. And some people are going to go, well, if they weren't chasing them, So you can commit a crime, jump in a car and drive off. And the cops just have to go, oh, maybe next time. Good one, you got away. Well, that's just dumb too. But I've seen the video footage out there, and that's another weird thing. So many people have to see the same footage that I do, where the cops will chase down the bad guy and still, in some cases, risk their life to save the bad guy. I feel there's a different outcome that should come from that, but it's not a popular one. Another thing, you see it all the time. I recently watched a video. The cops asked this female who was committing a crime about 20 times to get out of her vehicle and warned her, you will be removed because you are under arrest. She wouldn't get out. And then when they snatched her out and handcuffed her, there were actually people that left comments saying, oh, lawsuit. You were told at least 20 times to get out of the car. Or they were going to remove you from the car because you were under arrest. I'm not going to say it 20 times. 3 times is all I say it. I live life by the rules of baseball. So you see situations like that, and people still say that the cops are wrong. Or when someone comes at a cop and they got body cams, you see the person trying to, I'm going to say harm, to what severity, varying degrees of severity, the cops, and they finally have to defend themselves. I've heard people say, well, they didn't have to do that. Yeah, they did. I wouldn't give people as many chances. If you came at me like that, I'd defend myself way sooner than the cops did. But people keep judging them. They've got this, I don't even think all people that say all that stuff believe that. I think they've just gotten so into it, like the hate online, like the little trolls that go around and needlessly say bad things to try to piss people off. It's just become a trend. Or people that walk around town. I just watched some guy that finally got arrested for running around saying horrible things to people to get a mean reaction out of them. And he finally, I think it was made a bomb threat or something, and was finally arrested for that. It's not okay. I piss people off all the time, but that's not my intent. I don't set out to piss you off. I give my honest opinions, and it seems to upset people. I don't know what to tell you. I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. So, with this trend, people just think it's okay, and it's not even the majority of us. All you got to do is watch cops. Again, I'm not saying all cops are good. You will run into a bad cop, or you could run into a bad cop. But when you do, the best thing to do is to do whatever it takes to get through the situation. I hate to use this word because it's going to give the wrong impression. I'm going to say to comply. Be it show your license, proof of insurance, and then, because it's all, most of the time it's on dash cam, and a lot of people these days are recording cops, if the cop is wrong or you feel you've been wronged, file a lawsuit. Get them that way. Because when you act up and get all out of control, that's going to be twisted to where you are the problem. So, again, these people that think they're these dashboard lawyers or whatever, oh, I watched the video on YouTube, and you can't do that. Again, I'm not saying it never happens. I'm not stupid. I know. I've been jacked up twice by cops when I was younger. Totally complied, and both times, well, the one time he said I wasn't complying, he didn't believe that I didn't know the answer to his question. 2 situations. That was a long time ago. But I've learned over the years, if they pull me over, if I'm wrong, if I think I'm wrong or not, if I handle it with a better demeanor than cussing at them, and those of you that know me know how my mouth is, but I've learned not to cuss at them. More often than not, I'm let go without a ticket. Do I ever say I was speeding? No, not ever. Never, ever. Even if I was, never, ever. I'll see you in court. I go to court. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. But every speeding ticket, I always go to court. I haven't had one in a long time, but probably close to 10 years. But I found that if I am cordial, instead of being all, why'd you pull me over? Things go a whole lot more smooth than those people that get all out of control. It's almost guaranteed you're going to get a ticket. I mean, when I received my DWI when I was 25 years old, it was all because of my mouth. And was he just messing with me? Probably. Live in a small town. He was probably bored. Pulled me over and gave me a stupid reason for pulling me over. My mouth got me in a lot of trouble. Wound up being, because was I legally over the limit? Yep. Was I coherent and capable? Yep. I have mixed feelings about that limit. Do I think there should be one? Yes. Do I think it's probably the wrong number? I think it varies. But I passed all the tests, but my mouth, I pissed him off, got hauled in to where I had to take the breathalyzer. Breathalyzer said I was wrong. 2 years probation, $2,500 fines. Yeah. Lesson learned. I don't drink anymore, so I don't have to worry about any of that. But I let my mouth run off. And that's where I really first started learning, more often than not, it's the person being, I'm going to say detained or questioned or whatever. When you watch those videos, it's all the ones that get lippy, screaming, carrying on. I don't have to show you my license. It's easier to just show it to them. And if you think you're wronged, file a claim against them, file a suit against them, or a complaint, whatever. But in that moment, going off, that creates a problem. But because it's the thing to do, it's the cop's fault. No matter what footage people see, it's the cop's fault. Well, they shouldn't have pulled him over. Or he said he was sorry, they should have let him go. Or he was just trying to get home. Or whatever other ton of excuses there are. That doesn't change the fact you broke the law. And again, I keep stressing because sooner or later somebody's going to go, well, I'm not saying all cops are good. I know there are bad cops out there. But the majority of them are good. Again, there's bad in every walk of life. Yet cops, the ones who are sworn to uphold the law, are the only ones being taken to task like this. People might get pissed off at a judge for a bad call or a lawyer because things didn't go their way. But it's it's not all of them. People get mad at doctors because they don't think the doctor did everything they could to save their loved one. Am I going to say that that's never the case? Absolutely not. Because again, and I'm not saying it's due to intentional neglect. I believe some of it's incompetence. They didn't know what they were doing. Because I don't believe all doctors know what they're doing. Not at all. So I don't get this, why it seems to be okay to do that. And if you're one of those people that hate cops, when you're in a situation where you need the law, try calling your buddy or the crackhead outside. Somebody else. Because if you hate them that bad, you shouldn't call them. When your car is stolen, your TV is stolen, whatever the case, if you hate them that bad, you shouldn't call them. Because that's 100% you. That's a you problem. Because you can't have it both ways. And I've seen a lot of people who say they hate cops until they need a cop. And then, oh my goodness. So the main part that I have a problem here, not just that it's the current trend, the bandwagon that people are riding on, is people that ignore the facts, ignore the overwhelming evidence that not all cops are bad. You notice I keep saying that because I'm not going to say that, because I don't believe that. I can't stand to hear people say that, because it's just not true. And I know I keep reiterating it. Nobody attacks any other group and blames all of them. Or if they try to, well, there's something wrong with them and they'll get canceled. That don't make sense. You know, I have people get upset about my opinion about cops all the time. Get super pissed. Why? It's my opinion. Just like your opinion. Do I agree with your opinion? No. You don't have to agree with mine either. That's another thing that people are doing these days, and I think that's something that pressures some people into this all cops are bad thing. They want to be accepted, and they don't want people to talk shit to them or be mad at them or think something's wrong with them because they're not against the cops. I fully support the cops. Again, you know, if something bad happens, I'll handle it later in another way to where I'm not coming out looking like the bad guy. Because once you get all uppity on camera, they'll twist that into it's your fault. I know. But, so, why can't we move on? Why can't we be more realistic? Hold those ones that are bad, the ones that are found guilty, hold them to task. They should be tried just like any other criminal. I don't care, especially these days with all the video footage. I don't care how good of a cop they've been their entire career. If they cross that line, they should be held responsible. Period. No one's above the law. As a whole, these laws are set. For example, I don't believe in the seatbelt law. I'm not into that at all. Seatbelts kill just as many people as they save. However, I got back-to-back seatbelt tickets. And the cop that gave me my second one, the meanest cop in our town, I gave him my whole spiel about how I had been to EMT school, and I know that seatbelts kill just as many people as they save. So I'm not down with that at all. And he said, I agree with you 100%. However, and he took his pen and tapped his badge and said, I am sworn to uphold the law, and that is the law. So you're getting a ticket. I wasn't mad at all. He was 100% right. It is a law, even though I disagree with it. It's a law, and he is sworn to uphold the law. Could he have let me go? Yeah, but he didn't have to. I was wrong. Absolutely wrong. Period. That's another thing. A lot of people don't want to have self-accountability, so it's easier to blame someone else. Well, the cop was just messing with me. Nah, I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen. Again, I'm not stupid. I know they're cops. When I got my DWI, he was just bored. That's why he pulled me over. I wasn't swerving. I wasn't speeding. Pulled me over for following my now wife home. And if he had said something along those lines, we'd have been okay. But I wasn't driving erratically or anything stupid. And we were 1 block from my house. He could see her. I pointed at her. Or our apartment. And he didn't even verify my story because of my mouth. Or check my story because of my mouth. So, 100% my fault. And then the guy who towed my truck told me the next day when I picked it up that I made it even worse. And again, 100% my fault. So you have to have self-accountability. If you're in the wrong and you get a ticket or arrested, it's not the cop's fault. The cop didn't make you speed. The cop didn't trick you into speeding. If you stole something, the cop didn't make you steal it. You did that. You're mad because you got caught. However, you take it out on the cop. So what if a cop saw you abusing another cop and then he abused you? Well, that's police brutality. That's a double standard. That's not right either. So we need to get in the right frame of mind, have self-accountability, and if you run into one of the bad cops, you handle it smartly, wisely, however you want to say it, instead of trying to fight them right there. Remain calm, keep control of yourself, and get them later. By get them, file a complaint, a lawsuit. And again, there's bad lawyers, there's bad judges, so it may come of nothing. But you're not getting hurt by controlling yourself. Understanding you did it on your own, as if it was speeding. And does profiling happen? Yep. My very first seatbelt ticket, because I had hair down to here and the cop thought I was a girl at first, and then when he realized I was a guy, he pulled me over and gave me a ticket. Was I mad? Nope. Because I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. I was wrong, 100%. That's just the way it goes. So you have to have self-accountability. Stop trying to be one of the crowd. You know, people laugh at me because I'm different or give me shit because I'm different. I feel that same way about them because they're not. Have the balls to stand up and be you. Have self-accountability. Take pride in who you are. Know that there's bad in all walks of life. Kids, people, pets, everything. There are just bad people. So yes, there are bad cops, but it's not all of them. And it damn sure doesn't warrant what some people do to them. People literally hunt them and think that's okay. It's disgusting. Because if they were actually hunting you, oh my goodness, it'd be crazy. Lastly, the majority of murders, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. Too late. Statistically, happen by civilians, criminals. You know, the bad guys. They kill the majority of people. Yet, people are blaming cops. It's just not true. I'm not saying it never happens. It's not all of them. So, let's be a little more realistic. Stop just being on that bandwagon. Stand up. Be an individual. Think for yourself. Don't let the media tell you what to think. Don't let your friends tell you what to think. I don't. My friends' circle is very small. Once people get acclimated to me, they're usually pretty good with it. But I'm not out trying to be popular. I do what I believe is just and right. Doesn't mean I'm always right. Doesn't mean I'm always a good person. There's times where I'm a very bad person. It is what it is. I adjust and I move on. So, please, think for yourself. Let's be a little more realistic. Understand, especially in those high crime areas, they're under a lot of stress, but they're put there and left. Nobody stops and goes, hey, you know what? That's a lot of stress. Again, we rotate our soldiers 2 years. I think it's less than 2 years, but 2 years at the most. Rotate them out of war zones. We should do the same with cops. Don't put them there and leave them. That creates all sorts of problems. And potentially makes some bad cops out of good people. So, just some food for thought there. I get tired of saying that. Somebody had made a post on a comment on one of my videos, and 3 or 4 other people jumped on with, supporting it. And it just disgusts me. So, remember, they're doing a job, a thankless job. Some of you don't appreciate until, you need them. But they're not all bad. So give them a break and let's get off that bandwagon and do something positive for a change. If you're still here, I appreciate it. I know this was a little clunky, but I got to get back into it. This 7 weeks now that I haven't shot one. Been a while. I hear the train coming. I got to go. I hope y'all have a great day. Make someone laugh if you get the chance. Don't forget to tell your friends and family each and every time you leave that you love them, because you just never know, and that's going to be the last chance you get to tell them. Till next time, I am Bob Sixx. Peace.